Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Rita Giganti and Linda Armstrong. Today is Friday, August the 28th, 2020. It's 4 p.m. New York time. And wherever you are in the world, thanks for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. We've been off for the last couple days, actually. And for those of you who were asking, Cindy Chavez came through Hurricane Laura without a scratch. She's doing fine. Her family is fine. They had no property damage. They did not lose power. And she's convinced that all of our prayers and positive vibes sent her way definitely helped her and her family out. So good news from Baton Rouge there. And, there's so many things that people go through. Rita, we were talking about how, people are in shelters and so forth. It's really nice, though, when you have the information and the knowledge that we've learned through our circle of LOA conscious creators. We learn how to maintain that positive mental space, and it makes a difference. It makes a real difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Just prayers and good energy sent people's way. We were doing that the minute we heard it was going to touch down on Texas, I think it was, and we were already sending like good vibes and hoping that there wasn't any real casualties, connected. So it was scary, the things that they were talking about and things that they were saying about the storm, but you have to try and move past that and into that energy of a higher vibration to, help.
Absolutely.
Help those that are directly, involved in it. So.
And I have to credit Linda too, because Linda has been telling me since she came on board about the power of sending energy over. And once again, you've been validated, Linda, so you can pat yourself on the back.
Do it, Linda. Pat yourself.
It's not just me. It's like the whole spiritual community. It's like drinking water. I mean, it's just the way it is.
This is true. That's the way it is. And you'll also be pleased to hear an email that we got from a listener who had previously asked for, actually, this listener had not actually asked for help. This was a Me Too message. Linda, you've talked a lot about how, like when we're drawing cards or something like that, cards can apply to a lot of different people. And this was a Me Too situation. This is somebody who heard the podcast and realized that a reading that Rita did for another listener applied to her as well. So I wanted to share it with you guys. It's from Janine, and Janine says, "Hello, I want to thank you and Rita and Linda, and I want to share what happened Friday while I was listening to the podcast. This is a perfect example of how one person can ask a question and the answer can be for others as well. A month ago, my mother made an emergency visit to the hospital with nausea and vomiting, where the doctors discovered from a scan that she had cirrhosis of the liver. Her general physician urged her to see a gastroenterologist who told her that her liver probably had been failing for a while. He then sent her to a liver specialist who ordered an MRI and labs. Note that at least 3 sets of professional eyes had seen that scan and all said there was a problem with her liver. She wondered if she had cancer. She's a nurse herself who had to leave nursing due to poor health, and she believed this was her wake-up call. She received the results of the labs, and the second MRI nurse herself, the second MRI, wait a minute, this line is too long. Let me shrink the whole thing so I can read this a little bit easier. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so she received the results of the labs and the second MRI on Friday, and both came back showing a perfectly healthy liver. Now, she says, we were baffled by the results and really not feeling settled because of such a discrepancy between the two scans. Fast forward a couple of hours, and she was outside watering, listening to the podcast when you read the letter from Maureen. And the interesting connection here is her mother's name is Maureen. So the writer, I guess it was the writer of that question, asked Rita if she had cancer. And this writer, Janine, really appreciated how Rita answered it. And she wanted to thank you, Rita, because you told her mother the words she needed to hear. Some of the same words her mother had used herself, that it's not too late to heal herself, that it was a wake-up call, and that she now needs to do the work. So you have not one, but 2 new fans. How about that?
Hey, I love it. That's awesome. That's the trickle effect is fantastic when you can give someone a message and then 50 other people will receive it in the way they need to get what they need, and they may even hear it differently, but they get it. And that's the beauty of even being able to reach as many people as we reach,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great thing. Now, there is
Yeah.
also another effect to all the people that we reach, and it's something we wanted to mention to people today because we've been having people sending in multiple questions, which is great. It means that they're enthusiastic and they want to get all these interesting answers for their lives and so forth. We're also getting a lot of people sending in questions, and the numbers seem to be increasing. So we're probably pretty close to the time where we're going to have more questions than we have show. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge at that point. So I'm saying to anyone who is thinking about sending in multiple questions, when you send them in, give us the priority question. Tell us which one is the one that you definitely want us to answer. We'll try to get to all of them. And if we can, we will get to all of them. But on those occasions that will probably be happening fairly soon, where we can't get to all of the questions, it's going to really help to prioritize so that we can get everybody a chance, particularly people who have not had a chance to have their questions asked and answered on the show. So just a little heads up. I don't think it's going to be an issue today, ladies, because we only have one person with 2 questions. Everybody else has just 1 question. But just wanted to give the listeners a bit of a heads up there.
Good.
So unless you guys have something else you want to bring up, I'm going to dive in with some questions here.
I'm good, Linda.
No, I'm pretty good. I'm curious to see what comes up through the questions today because there's something been going through my awareness. I want to see if it plays out today.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Well, we'll have to check back on that then.
Fun.
Okay, so this first one is from Anne Marie, and she says, Rita, I'm loving listening to you on the show. You're so interesting and honest. I have a question, if you would be kind enough to answer. My husband has been made redundant from his job. Now that the shock is wearing off, we are viewing it as a positive. This change has massive impacts on our lives. So I wondered, what you saw for us? What do you see for us going forward, please? Lots of love and thank you for sharing.
Her husband was made, what was the word?
Redundant. I believe that's a British term for laid off.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So, what Spirit says is that secretly he's been looking for a way out anyway. He's there, he does his job, but he's looking more for something that feels closer to his calling, to his soul work as well. There are some people that do their soul work and their work together, and there are some that do it separately, right? So this is a huge opportunity, Spirit saying, to reflect a little bit. He needs to go in and reflect a little bit about where he would like to put his energy next. It's not about not being able to get another job. This is about, because he could if he applied himself and just put it out there, but it's not about just getting a job. It's about getting something that connects to his soul, that he could it's been going on for quite a while. This feeling of, I need to shift this, I need to change this, I need to do something different, like I'm done with this. So it could be another aspect of what he does, but I just feel like it's a shift altogether. And so not to have anxiety around being laid off, because it won't take long, just to reflect and figure out where he'd like to put his energy next. And it's very go ahead, Linda. You gotta.
No, you can finish your thing. I can say it afterwards.
Okay. It's very clear that they've wanting to move him to a different area of his life at this point.
They meaning Spirit, right?
spirit. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because the thing I was seeing if it was going to come up has already come up with the first question.
Ah, cool.
So
There you are.
what's really been in my awareness is this whole thing with us, whether we know it or not, as the energy is shifting on the planet, we're waking up or being woken up to express ourselves as our unique selves, whatever that is, without judgment and without comparison, right? So a lot of people don't even realize it, that a lot of this big shakeup is so that they actually do what they came here to do. Like if they
That's it.
haven't been able to see it yet, they're going to see it now, because they cannot not see it, because spirit's got your back, and everything out there is going to shake you up, spit you out. So you're like, oh, okay, this is me. This is who I am. And you can feel the truth of that, or find the truth of that. Sometimes you won't see it maybe until you're getting to this position now where like you lost your job, or you could lose your job, or whatever. It's like, maybe that's exactly what's supposed to happen.
No, that's exactly what part of COVID did for people.
Yeah.
There are many, many people who are in the quote unquote, like the day-to-day rat race, going back and forth to New York City and or wherever it is that they live, to their cities, and working their jobs. Like they were being worked. It wasn't
Yeah.
that they were going there to enjoy work. They just had to go and do it to create a living, because they had to pay bills. Because and people need to understand also, there's a great shift happening where money is concerned, where finances are concerned, how money is used, and um, how we've abused, through greed, a lot of things that have occurred up until now. The institutions that are behind that greed, all of that is shifting and changing now. So, and it has to, because if it doesn't, we just go deeper and deeper into the craziness of it all, we'll say. And so this has given everyone, like Linda is saying, that grand opportunity. Everyone should be seeing it as, wow, what's next? Like I just started it. It's like we all started a new life. You know what I mean? Unless you're already in. And I even being and doing what I'm doing, I feel like there's something else on the outskirts coming
Mm,
to connect to me, that where I have to do something else. You know what I mean?
okay.
Yeah.
Adding it. Now there's others that are maybe doing their work but need to add something to it, or need to take something away, because it's more of a burden than it is, a loving energy. And if it doesn't support you in your heart, then be gone.
Yeah. And even to just step into it further, it's like, now's the time. And there's going to be a huge shakeup coming up. I've been listening to some astrologists, and from everything, the way all is lining up, it's almost like we're going to be shaken up and spit out. I'm going to see where everything falls. So
Did you hear, Linda? Did you hear that like around November that was gonna be a big shift?
September, I was here in September, October, like coming up really soon, especially with this new moon that's coming up, this full moon or whatever that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to intensify what's already been happening. Doesn't
Right.
mean it's bad. It means it's just things are going to shake up. So you might be surprised at how things unfold. And, since we do create our own reality, if we look at this with excitement and what are the possibilities there,
Mm,
Right.
even if it's like you lost your job, but if you look at what the possibilities are there, you might see how you can be doing something that you enjoy even more and making more money at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's
There are some people who are also. This may sound strange, but I like some people give up six-figure incomes to do what they love, and maybe they're not making as much, but it really doesn't matter to them at that point,
hmm
because the love of it just, they don't even feel like it's work. They can't even call it work anymore. You know?
And when you're in that energy, everything you need and desire will be supplied. It'll be there.
Exactly.
Well, I have two thoughts that I want to share. The first one is, once again, we managed to have tremendous synchronicity going on. Linda says, there's a question I have in my mind, and it gets asked in the first question. I mean, Linda, you can't ask for better than that. That's pretty damn good.
It's, it's
And then
energy.
the second thing that occurred to me is, this is a theme that I think happens a lot in life. It's probably happening to a lot more people right now in the midst of all the craziness of what's going on. But sometimes, source energy or God or spirit or the universe or however you want to label it gives us a push. Like,
Mhm.
okay, you've been on that spot long enough. You've been really wanting to move to this other spot over there. We're going to kind of push you over there because you haven't taken any steps yet. This is getting a
Mhm.
push.
Yeah.
That's the way I see that anyway.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's the awakening. That's what
The
it's all
awakening, right?
about.
It's inevitable, and that's what people, I'm hoping that most people can come to terms with that. It's inevitable because we cannot remain the way we are and survive here in a good environment if we were to continue on that old path. The new path has already begun. It's a matter of who's coming, who wants to get on the path,
Yep.
because it's here already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's no judgment who for those who don't want to or can at the moment. There's no judgment about that, but we're going to continue to move forward. And who knows, this week, next week, a month, a year, 10 years, they may jump on the path.
Well, when you get the push, it's also because you're ready for the push.
Right.
It doesn't come too soon before you can handle it.
Exactly.
Or does it? And you just don't know you could handle it till it comes.
Well, that could also be true, but you
Yeah.
still can handle it. It's just that you don't know that you can handle it.
Well,
Well,
that's
that's here.
that point I'm making is some people may never do that shift until it's shaken up and they have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like spirit is saying, listen, you're taking too long. We're going to just move you along and see if now you'll catch on to it. They can't make us catch on, right? But things could shake up to open up a possibility or a different way of being.
Right. The key is not to get into the fear of what's shaking you up.
Yes.
It's to just to allow it and see it from a higher perspective so that you can move through it. Or, getting help, having someone help you through that piece so that you can get through it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep. That's true. Good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
all right. We're off to a raging start here. That's just question one. We got a bunch more, so I'm going to go to the next one on the list. This one is from Russ. He says, my company closed in June and I lost my job. I sense a theme going on here. I then
Mhm.
started a new company almost immediately, dealing with many of the same clients. Ooh. The potential contracts are high dollar, but move very slowly. Great potential, but I have yet to close a deal. Meanwhile, my savings are dwindling. My spirit guides have been helping me, and I have identified a fear of lack that is also generational. I am also married to a wonderful woman that says she knows LOA but does not practice it. She is terrified about running out of money and would rather that I get a real job, quote unquote. I meditate, get my vibe up, and then I see her fear and uncertainty and I crash down. So can I please have some advice from the spirit realm?
Yeah. I could see the clarity of this is, he's trying to follow his heart and do his thing, and he's allowing his wife, who has tremendous fear around not having enough money, you know um kind of crash him when she gets that fear. He has to rise above that fear. And there's a piece of her, they both have to look at this. He's got that piece where he he's working on lack, right? So I would invite him to, spirit says we've talked about Dan, on the show, Dan Mangina. And so,
Right?
spirit is saying that he should connect to that energy, and work through some of the lack stuff. And part of it, though, is he's really wanting his partner to kind of help him with, the abundant piece, like, give him some, uh, we're, like, it's okay, we're going to be okay. And if she can't do it, he has to hold it himself. You know what I mean? He has to hold it himself because I understand it's taking a little bit longer than he would like it to take, but um oh, okay. He may need somebody else in there to help him, Spirit said. Like if he's got this fear of closing the deal, then he needs someone to come in and close the deal. He can prepare it, get it ready, they come in and close it. There's something that just needs to shift slightly in the energy, and he's off to the races. But it's kind of like this push pull because of his wife. He does the push pull. He's going like 50 miles, and then all of a sudden he comes to a screeching halt. And that's what also is stopping the closing of the deals, because he's not clear on the abundance piece. He has to get very clear on it so that he can close one right after. He's capable of closing it. He doesn't, because of what's happening, he doesn't think he's capable. That's why I said if he needs somebody to come in right now, because some people need to see like, oh, they could do it. Oh, I could do it. I could definitely do it. Because eventually he's going to need somebody. It's going to get to the point where he's going to need somebody to come in and do it anyway with him, because it's going to get like big like that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So it's really up to him how fast and how um okay, thank you, how he wants to decide how to move forward without the fear. So he has to make a decision where he places things in an order that removes the block and the fear so that it can just go. He cannot continue to do the back and forth thing, because that's what he will get from the universe.
Mm.
They're only going to give him what he puts out, right?
Yep. Yep.
I would just add for him to realize that it is her energy and her point of view, right? So it doesn't have, it's hard because when you're in the environment of somebody who's projecting that at you, it's hard
Yeah.
not to take it on. But if he can remind himself or stay in his own energy, and maybe that's when he needs to go and meditate or something, or go outside, because you can't change her, but you can influence her by holding your energy high. And the more you hold your energy high, the easier all these deals are going to come through. And I would really just ask questions to the universe. What needs to happen here for this deal to close? Like, be more in the question, which takes you out of the fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other part that was coming to me too is every time that she is pretty much dumping that on, it's like people will dump things on you so that they could feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
She's not really aware, even if she thinks she knows LOA, that by doing that, she's just making it harder for you, right? So every time she does that, rather than maybe want to, in your mind, even judge her and criticize her for the way she's acting when you're working so hard doing that, that kind of thing, instead of getting into that energy, just send her love. And
Mhm.
she's doing the best she can right now, right? So you just send that energy of love, which of course, as you're sending it and holding it, you're lifting your vibration. So one way to combat that energy he's receiving from her is, number one, it's not yours. Secondly, just send her back love.
That's it. Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, as you guys were describing that, I kept thinking of a term that my wife came up with a number of years ago. Actually, I'm not sure if she's the one that came up with it, but she used it a lot when she was in her psychotherapy practice. She called it an FGO, which I will translate roughly to a friggin' growth opportunity. And with these friggin' growth opportunities, what they really are is an opportunity to take a step up, to kind of step up your game in the
Yeah.
face of, oh, geez, I'm not getting the support I want, and I'm not getting the results that I want, and I'm going back and forth. Well, it's an opportunity to say, you know what? I'm not going to stay on that one. I'm going to shift over to I'm in control of my life. It's a growth opportunity, a time to kind of
Yep.
take control and say, okay, I'm going to go to the next step. To heck with what's going on around me.
This happens so much in relationships, where one is afraid of, the finance piece of it, and the other one doesn't buy into the energy of the fear, just wants to work at creating something different to make it change. And I think that um, you know, people, I know people that have experienced to the point where they just want to pull you in so that they're not feeling it alone.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Well, why? How come you're not afraid? Well, how come you're this? Well, how come you're? And I just say to them, because you're not. It's not. You
Yeah.
don't hold that energy, and
Hmm.
so you have to hold it to the point where, or tell them, go speak to someone else, spew to somebody else about it, because it's not going to pull me in, and
Hmm.
that's what he has to remember.
Right. And even what you just said, it's just a choice. Like, no, I'm sorry. I choose to go into this other space. I'm not going to go into that in fear and lack, because nothing good comes out of it.
Nothing. It only makes it worse. It only makes it worse if two people are in it. Then, you
Yeah.
know.
So, Russ, I think the answer to your question is get off your butt. Do something. Take a step.
No,
That-
the answer is
no,
really just to be himself and do what he knows he has to do and can do and is able to
Yeah.
do without that other energy influencing
Yeah.
him.
You know,
right.
he knows what he has to do. He said it very nicely, actually. He described it
Yeah.
really well. He knows what he has to do. He just has to do it. That's all. And he'll get plenty of support. You said it yourself, Rita. I mean, he's that close to it. You know, stuff just coming in droves, just kind of
Oh yeah.
piling
He's
on.
just having to hire somebody.
Yeah. So it's
Absolutely.
not going to take a lot. It's just going to take taking that step.
Right.
So, all right, good. Next question comes from one of Linda's clients. This is from Denise. She says, there is a fellow in the camp mine that I work at that I really like. He gives me butterflies and goosebumps every time I see him or am around him. We are good friends. Would this by chance be the one that my husband is sending me? I think about him all the time, and I'm pretty sure he likes me as well. Thank you, Denise.
Right. So that's a repeat question, right? Because Denise is the one that you spoke to that asked questions a few weeks ago about her husband, and you saw the flower.
Oh, that's the same one.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So
Okay, yes.
this is a continuation question for Denise.
Right.
I don't know if you need to read it again for Rita or not, knowing that.
Forgive me, because when I'm done reading, I don't remember any.
Yeah.
I have to be reminded. But so in that other, when that first reading, you're saying that I told her her husband would be bringing her the next person in her life. Is that correct?
And also there was this flower that you couldn't tell
Oh,
what it was.
the red flower.
The red
Yeah,
flower.
yeah.
Right.
Yes, you and I
Yeah.
texted about. Okay. Hang on one second. Let me just listen. um, so her husband, very interesting. Her husband shows up, and he's surrounded by two other people that um, are with him on the other side. But he's saying, you're going to have to, in other words, you're going to have to make the first move, he's saying, because the potential is fantastic here. Um, it's that she, you know, oh, okay, this is part of her lesson of putting herself out there, like, and knowing that she can, and knowing that it's okay. Um, it's okay that it may not come from him first. You know how that there's that old kind of mentality with the man kind of makes the first attempt, or blah
Mhm.
blah blah. Yeah, this is refreshing. This is like, own yourself, go do it, and just do it. Like, let's
Mhm.
not, you know what you're feeling. And yes, I told you I would be helping in this department. So um,
So don't stand on protocol.
don't stand on protocol, but he says don't waste any time either.
Mm.
You know, don't waste any time. Yeah. I don't know who these two people are that are with him. Um, he just is describing them as his buddies. So I can't get who they are. I just see the energy. Um, but he's saying that she would know them. she would know them. And the reason why she gets that feeling from this man is because she has experienced a past life with him.
Oh.
He was bringing her somebody that she could connect to. In other words, it couldn't have just been anyone. Like it couldn't have just been a nice looking blah blah blah, and that kind of. It had to come from a different energy. There's physical attraction, there's chemical attraction, and then there's this. There could be this past life where you go, oh my God, this is like I know this person.
Yeah.
And that's what she's experiencing.
Those are fun, by the way.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. I know because that's Louise and me.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is good stuff. Okay, well, hopefully that's helpful to Denise. The next one comes from Andrew. Andrew says, hello, I'm loving the app and form. That's great. Thank you, Andrew. My question is, what type of healing should I pursue for my sinus/health condition that has gotten worse this year? I have gone to alternative and regular doctors, but I am now looking for true healing of my condition. This year has been a challenge. And he notes that he previously asked, how can one stay centered in these troubled times? So I guess he's a previous question asker too.
Okay. It's a combination of things. So it's interesting. There's this light therapy where they use lights to pinpoint the area, but he would do acupuncture with it. So it's a form of light therapy with acupuncture in that area. I believe that, hold on, because what they're showing me is the throat being part of this. So the second piece is that his immune system is in need of a boost. Yeah, his immune system is in need of a boost. So he's saying that not the conventional doctor is not going to make this happen. If he's not been to a functional medicine doctor, that's what he needs, but also to get this kind of acupuncture that uses light as well. And there's something going on in the throat area where, and that's part of what's happening here. It's like something's blocking something he needs to say, or something that's been stuck there. And so it kind of just got stuck and then moved up to the sinus area and then moved up. And so what we don't want is the third eye to get blocked. Like we need to keep it just in this area. If the third eye gets blocked, then that's another whole thing we have to deal with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the fifth chakra, and I'm seeing here and right here on him, and it's yeah, his way of thinking blocks the energy as well. He has to start doing either affirmations or things to clear the mind. Part of it is the mind that's overworking.
Is this a case of symptoms as a metaphor? I mean, you mentioned like there was something he needed to say, and that's what made me think of that.
Yeah, it's physically happening to him, but it's there's something here that's blocked that needs to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to be said to somebody. And that actually helps. But the minute he said, you know, the sinuses, I saw acupuncture and this light therapy that's with it. And the acupuncture should be connected to his throat as well. This whole area needs to stay open.
I think it's what a good acupuncturist does anyway. They find out what your various symptoms are, and then they attack all of them together, don't they?
Yeah, and there's several points that can attack 4 different areas in the body, or
Mm-hmm.
different
Right.
areas. needs to find somebody that's good at that, that knows their shit.
It's interesting, the light thing. I hadn't heard that with acupuncture. I've never heard of that light attachment or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a form of light therapy, and what they're showing me is more like a pen that pinpoints the area,
Okay.
and so that's what it needs in that area. Or
Huh.
you put in other words, you put the needles in, and then you do the light once you have the needles in.
Huh. Never heard of that.
It's a vibrational thing.
Okay. Well, it makes sense. I mean, if he's got all that stuff going on with something that needs to be said, there's definitely something vibrational going on for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. They're taking me, interesting. They're taking me to a book, and I know what book it is, but God, I can't think of the name of it. If you want me to look, I could kind of take you with me into the room where it is and give you the name of it. Because they're saying that if he looks up, he'll also get information about this. Let me just do it because
Sure.
they're
Yeah. Go
just
ahead.
like,
While you're taking your walk, I'll take it as an opportunity to do a little promo for the app. And for those people who have downloaded the app and are enjoying it, share it with friends because we want to get this into the hands of as many people as we can. And what better way to do it than to have a recommendation come from a friend? That's the kinds of recommendations we take the most seriously. So, take the opportunity, share the LOA Today app, and help us get it into more hands.
okay, so I'm going to show it if that's okay.
Yeah.
Can everybody see that?
Well, I'll have to read it for the podcast listeners because they can't see the video, but it says The Complete Dictionary of Ailments and Diseases. Who's it by?
By I don't know, Jacqueus
Chicard?
Martel, Martel.
Okay.
So it says the most comprehensive dictionary dealing with the conflicted thoughts, feelings, and emotions at the root of illnesses. And some of the things on here is like awakening one's consciousness. I am the creator of my life. Love is the truth healer. But when you go in and you look at it, it'll give you what's going on, let's just say with the sinuses, right? What it means, all of that. But then it gives you an affirmation to say to correct it.
Oh.
It's actually a phenomenal book that Spirit had given me at one point, and I've used it with many of my clients.
Oh, okay.
To explain to them the root cause of certain things.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, then hopefully that's helpful to Andrew. Next one comes from another client of Linda's, Liliana. I'd love to ask Rita about my business. I've been very stuck and not growing because I'm not showing up, not doing the work, but I don't know why. I think I have fear in some way that I just do not take action. So what do you have for Liliana?
What business is she in?
She doesn't say, just that she has a business that she's kind of stuck and not growing.
Okay. Spirit needs for her to reevaluate. There's yeah, okay. Hold on. There's a piece of her that's not motivated because there's a little bit of depression in her energy. I'm noticing, and so she needs to every day. She needs to read, listen, talk to whatever it is to amp up her energy a bit. And every day she needs to do one thing connected to the business to get it going. One thing. They're not asking her to do, 6, 7, 8 things. One thing. But even more important is connect to something that makes her feel uplifted. Listen to Tony Robbins something or other where it's talking about co-creating and what you can do to co-create, and something that brings her energy up, um, because there's this like belief, like, yeah, I don't know if I could really make this work, but she can, and she will. The other thing Spirit is asking is there's other aspects to this business that she needs to look at that she hasn't looked at.
Hmm.
And so, and that might be what gets her more motivated. But there's this like little depression I'm picking up around her. And she needs to, and it's really about other things happening in the world. She's too much in her thoughts about that kind of stuff, and she should not be watching the news or anything, or, kind of giving her energy to any of that. Her sole focus is her right now, and and moving her vibration up. She gets like excited, and then all of a sudden it crashes, and then she gets excited. So every day she has to do something to keep it up there.
She's listening to the live stream, and I just saw that, and she said that the type of business is skincare.
Yeah. There's other aspects to that needs to be looked at. Okay. I don't know anything about skincare because as you see, there's no makeup. There's
I had muted myself, so I was trying to say that she's in skincare and she's probably on the live feed. So I'm glad you saw her down there.
Yeah,
on the live feed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is because I had a little chat with her today, just texting. I haven't really actually talked to her in a while, but you hit on it a little bit. Is she's, without knowing it, I think she's carrying a lot of energy for the collective because she's pretty empathic and she's very switched on spiritually. So I think a lot of it really isn't even hers to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, because she's not fearful about the stuff that's going on personally, but I think she didn't realize how much she might be taking in from out there. So
yeah, she not listen to nothing like that. But there is an energy that wants to connect to her called Seth. I don't know the energy. I just hear the name and I can feel the energy. But do you guys know any energy?
Seth?
Well,
Yeah.
there's Seth Speaks. That was Jane Roberts. That's the name of the entity that she used to channel back in the 70s, I think it was.
Yeah, before Abraham.
Right.
Or Abraham. Okay. I don't know why that just jumped in, but it did. So she may need to, connect to that. She's of a very high vibration. She's just she just turned her energy down a bit. But she comes in with great knowledge. Also, she needs to use herbs. She needs to grow them and use them. Her own herbs. And the garden there can be in her home. Like, it doesn't have to be outside.
Oh.
I don't know how to do that, to be honest with you. I'm sure there's a way. Otherwise, they wouldn't be telling me.
Yeah, well,
But
probably UV lamps or something.
yeah, okay. Has to be grown in the house. She's like a medicine woman. But in the beauty sense, you know what I mean? But she's like a medicine woman. That's how they describe her. So, yeah.
And what you mentioned early on is always a good technique for anybody, especially somebody who really understands how this stuff works, but it really works for anybody. And that is, get yourself into a high vibe thing before you try to take a single step. I mean, when we try to take a step from a low vibe place, we all know what that one's like. It's like going to the dentist. It's about the last thing you really want to do in the world, even though you want to do it, but you talk yourself out of it so easily because you're feeling low vibe.
Yeah. So when that happens to me, I begin communication with spirit and out loud, because I have to hear myself saying it. And I just say to them, I'm going to take the step now because I haven't, and I feel like I need to. So whatever you guys can do to help with that step, I would really appreciate it. You see, when you have that dialogue and you give them permission, it happens instantaneously. It's just that we forget to do that. And we also think we have to do it all, and there's nothing that says that.
It's true. Yeah. That
We
was
need much help, not just from like your guides, but from other entities and high vibrational energies from other worlds that we connect to, but don't even know we connect to.
Mhm.
You know. Go ahead,
Yep.
Linda.
Did she write anything more in the chat?
Just thank you. She was appreciative.
Okay.
Yeah. And we also have Russ, whose question you answered earlier. He jumped in and says, thanks for taking the time to answer my question. He says, I know great things are on the way. I can see them once I get out of my own way. And he started Game his money game last Sunday. So well done, Russ.
Yay.
Hooray. Very good. All right. Next one is actually somebody who found us on Facebook. This is Helene. And she says, why is my fatigue so bad? She says, I have spinal stenosis, arthritis, a pinched nerve, COPD, asthma, and a few more ailments. That's her question.
Okay. She wants to know why she's fatigued with all of that.
Right. Yeah. It sounds fairly obvious to me, but it's probably more that she's looking for.
Right. First of all, okay, hold on. Okay, so spirit's not. I hate when they make me do this. Spirit's not chastising her. What they're doing is they're saying to her in a very loving way, we need to move out of the victim mode to the mode of self-healing. We need to get out of the role where this is like gently, please. Sometimes they're very forthright, and I'm not of that, so it's uncomfortable for me sometimes. But they're wanting her to get out of that place of victim mentality and into a place where her knowing there is a place in all of us, they're saying, where there is a knowing that we are completely 100% capable of healing. Sometimes with the help of doctors, they're saying, sometimes not. She's going to need the combination. Now, read the list of ailments again to me.
Spinal stenosis, arthritis, pinched nerve, COPD, asthma, and some others she didn't list.
The first three are rage. Fear and rage. Where is it coming from? We're going to look at the emotional aspect. Get that book because it'll be fabulous. But that's where those first three are coming from. And she's so angry that it's taking the breath right out of her.
Wow.
She's losing her essence, her life essence, because of it. Okay? That's the emotional piece. Now, will we throw in, Spirit says, we'll even be nice and throw in, allergies, and like they'll give a little bit in that area, but we're going right to the emotional piece. And there's a piece of her that could be stubborn about, why is this happening to me? Why can't I get this fixed? Why this? Why that? She can. She has to get out of that mentality.
And it's easy to get into that mentality. Let's be honest.
Oh my God. And then when you feel all those things, it's like it completely like destroys like your energy to want to do anything.
Yeah.
But so I just want you to. Here's how they describe it. We have all this anger. We have all this rage. Right. This is why we have those three ailments. then it's sucking the wind right out of us. COPD, asthma, right? Well, I might as well just give up and blah, blah, blah. Complete fatigue, down and out. Okay. Um, if she hasn't had blood work recently, she needs it. Not that there's anything terribly, it's just, oh, okay, hold on. Also, an allergist would be good, pinpointing certain allergies for her. That'll also tell her about the emotional body, believe it or not. Okay. That'll also tell her about the emotional body.
When you're talking about a rage like that, that sounds to me that what the spirit guides are saying is she needs to get that rage out somehow.
Oh,
She needs
yeah.
to release it and just let go of it somehow.
Get a punching bag. Take a bat to something that you don't care about.
Yeah.
There's a set of dishes that you don't love.
That's dramatic.
I've done it.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah.
Did it work?
I've run the gamut.
Did it work? Did it feel better?
Oh my God. I've taken one of my books, because I wrote my memoir. I've
Right.
taken, I was in the middle of like clearing like some of my old stuff from my family. Brand new, one of my brand new books. I just took it and started ripping out pages and destroyed the book completely.
Oh my.
And then I burnt it.
That book didn't have a chance.
Fuck you, I'm getting this shit out. I don't care. And sometimes it takes that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes that. Sometimes it takes that physical, exercise is good. But when you have that kind of rage that I felt that day, you hand me a bat. Give me something that I could swing.
And try not to take it out on actual people.
Right.
Because that can be a
nice
desire.
I was all by myself. The neighbors probably heard me because I
what's going on over there?
Yeah. And I would have invited them in and let them rip up a book too. Whatever. Let's just get it out.
Yep.
So, yep. She'll find that when she does that, she'll have more energy because she's given out way too much. She has to call back all her energy.
That's really true.
Yeah.
I mentioned this one other time before on the show, and it's been a while since I mentioned it, but back when I was in school, in college, the school I went to it wasn't quite Ivy League, but it was close in terms of, the intensity, the pressure, and so forth. And at one point, it was in the spring semester, and everybody was just, I think it was just before spring break, and exams were upon us and all that kind of stuff, and everybody was on edge. And somebody suggested, let's do a primal scream. And everybody said,
oh, I love it.
We'll just go outside and we'll scream. So we organized it, and there were like 30 of us that went outside the dorms. Now this was like in upstate New York in like minus 30-degree temperatures. I mean, it was freezing cold outside, but that was okay. Right. We didn't care about that. We just went out there and screamed our heads off. And by the time we're done, we're laughing. I mean, like all of the stress was gone,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you, that primal scream, I know, because I've done that. That is incredible. I mean, I had a sore throat the next day, but
yeah, no kidding.
Incredibly healing.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I tell you, Spirit loves that one.
Oh, is that right?
They do. They love that one. It's like, that's right.
In Theta Healing, there's something they call heart song. And really what you're doing is just making sound, however the sound wants to come out, primal kind of thing. And just keep doing it for a while. Keep doing it until you don't have to do it anymore. Yeah, it's really amazing how much you release just by doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Fortunately, there are a lot of ways to let rage out, but you got to let it out. It's not only is it cutting down on your ability to apply that energy to your benefit, because you just described, Rita, how once she releases it, she's going to be just loaded with energy.
Yeah.
But on top of that, you're using it against yourself. You're your own victim of all that rage that you're storing up. That's the hard part about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, she can do this. She's more than capable. She,
Good.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Hey,
Helene, I hope that helps you. Next, we have, this is actually two questions, again, from somebody that Linda sent. It's named Pat. First, she says, I am a spirit photographer trying to start my book. In parentheses, finances are a huge problem. She says, I see ancestors in trees, rocks, cemetery stones, and I also read faces. I would love Rita's insight into what type of camera I should buy, since my photos currently are not clear enough for my book. How's that for a question?
I know nothing about cameras, but I'm hearing that she needs somebody else to.
Do the photography?
Yeah, hold on a second. Oh, they're talking about black and white photos.
Ooh.
Spirit. There's a certain energy that she will get from black and white photos. So I think there is a. I don't know if it's the film or the camera that needs to change. The interesting part is that there's a story behind every photo she takes. And so the book can consist of, let's just say, a headstone, right?
Mm-hmm.
She takes a picture of the headstone. She reads it. She knows who it is, the energy. She gets the information. She puts it in the book. She then takes a picture of a tree. The tree speaks to her. She gets the information. She puts it in the book. Like, this is what they're showing me. Like, she is okay. She is in charge of. They're just using that as a in charge of showing humanity that they can connect to anything and get the information they need. Also, she could have a picture of someone, and this is an interesting thing. She could do readings like someone sends I mean, this is how I read, so I understand it. I get a picture of someone, I read their energy, and immediately I can tell what's going on. She can do that. And she could write down what she experiences and then email what she writes down to them. It does not have to be a face-to-face reading. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they send her the picture, she writes down what she gets, she sends it back to them. $30, $40, $50, whatever she wants to charge for it. As far as the book goes, I'm seeing her describe her experience in the world and exploring the fact that every single thing, whatever it is that you're taking a picture of or looking at, has energy, and you can get information from that energy. It's about getting people to connect on different levels. Okay, that's how it ended.
Okay. That's pretty good information. I have a feeling that's going to tell her stuff that she is already aware of, and that's going to connect in a big way for her.
Okay, good. Good.
We've got a few questions left, and we're kind of running out of time here. I was afraid this was going to start to happen, and sure enough, it's happening on this show. I'm going to make a couple suggestions here and see what you guys think about it. First one is, one of the things that I wanted to share was something that came from Chuck, where he was giving us a thank you for what happened. So I want to make sure I include that before we finish up the show. Second, I want to try to get these others answered this time, but I also want to put out there that what people perhaps need to start doing is contacting you directly and maybe setting up sessions, especially if there's somebody who has asked a question before, because we're getting quickly to the point now where we can't answer all the questions in the show. I mean, that's where we're at right now. But for this week, let's see if we can just spend a little extra time, do the questions that we have left, if that's okay with you. And then
Sure.
going forward, we're going to ask people who are asking multiple questions to contact you directly, because we want to get as many different people in as we can with these questions.
Absolutely.
Sound good to you?
Sure.
Okay. So first, I'm going to share. Well, actually, let's go back to Pat's second question. Her second question was, when my mom passed, I found a photo that led me to ask a YouTuber who we'll call KK if we had a past life together. We did, and she and I remain in contact. Now, like Linda, KK's purpose in life is to bring light to humanity. She's in her 50s. Recently, she had a detached retina, and she wants confirmation about her healing. So what do you see for that?
It's like an anomaly. It's like um, she can heal it. But there's something still like that would remain there that's not going to aggravate her or anything. I don't know if it was something previous to the retina being detached. But whenever something like it's in the eye area, so that's what is she detaching from that she doesn't want to see?
A lot of symptoms as a metaphor going on today.
Yeah, that's the question to ask. There's something else there, but it's not harmful, and it won't. Once she's healed from the retina, it won't. It'll be okay. Again, I'm picking up light therapy, and I don't know why. But find somebody that does light therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just as an example, when someone is farsighted, there's something that they can't look that's close to them. When someone's nearsighted, it's the future they don't want to see.
Mm.
Okay. Just to give examples about what goes on with eyes. When something detaches, what is that detachment about? So she'll
Okay.
heal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Next one is from Josie. She sent this one in. She says, twice this week I've had a dream where I kept forgetting my mask when going to the store, yet nobody else was wearing a mask. What do you think of my dream?
That's funny. She kept forgetting her mask, but then when she went to the store, nobody had a mask.
Right.
Well, I do. Do a lot of dream interpretation with people because I was taught a very different way how to interpret dreams.
Oh, okay.
Because an elephant to me would mean something different than an elephant for you.
Okay.
So nothing can really, there might be some universal things, but the question I would be asking myself is, how do I really feel about wearing a mask?
Ah, yes.
What am I? Do I feel like I'm hiding? Do I feel like I need to be more open? And so the people around her aren't wearing masks, almost like her. It's almost like she wants permission not to wear her mask.
Well, it sounds like that, yeah, doesn't it?
And
Yeah.
and they're saying to everyone, as far as masks go, you do what you're comfortable with.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like to see it like it's a prophetic, how do you say it? Prophetic dream. The future,
Yeah.
no mask.
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah.
Right,
I think that's going to come.
It's what she feels
soon.
inside. It's like, I don't want to do this, like, why do we have to continue to do this? And
I'm with her.
yeah,
Big time.
So, it's at this point to keep the anxiety at a level, at a low level, people need to do what they feel comfortable with. If you feel comfortable wearing the mask, wear it. If you don't, unless, it's mandatory, right? Still?
Well, many places. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all going to shift. It will all shift. So not to worry.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I have a question from our live stream. This is from Nasha. She says her mother isn't well and she's wondering what's wrong with her. Once again, I need to put in the disclaimer that none of us are doctors, so we can't really give medical advice, and you need to consult a medical physician for medical advice, but Rita will try to tap into the energies.
She's on there now listening.
Nasha is listening, not her mother.
Um, can she give me her symptoms?
Nasha, you heard the question. Can you give the symptoms? It takes about 20-30 seconds for the live stream to catch up, so we'll have to wait a little bit on that.
Yeah. How old's her mom?
That's
You don't
another
know.
question to answer. No, I don't know. So 2 questions for you to answer, Nasha. Symptoms and your mother's age.
Yeah, because I'm not the I feel fatigue in her body. I feel like a lot of fatigue in her body. Um, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety, which is making the fatigue worse. Just close my eyes for a second and see if there's anything else coming through. She needs a cleanse, this lady. She needs a type of cleanse. She needs to cleanse this toxin, because they show, when I close my eyes, I see all these little toxins in the body. And she needs a cleanse. What would be really good is a vitamin drip. Do you know what that is? It's like
Sounds
when you
like a
go to,
saline drip with vitamins in it.
yeah, it's like a lot of functional medicine doctors do it, where they, they'll give you a vitamin drip to, and it feels like she needs like a B12. You know what I mean? Like a B12 shot, like, because that's the kind of fatigue I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not getting much more right now.
She hasn't given me more information, so we may have to keep an eye on it and see if she comes back with more stuff.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to make sure I shared what Chuck sent us. He says, thanks to you, Walt, Rita, and Linda for my question being answered on last Friday's Psychic Friday. Again, Rita's assessments were dead on. I have a lot of anxiety around job hunting, and honestly, I had hoped to never have to do it again. Hopefully this time coming will be the last, as I will use my LOA toolbox to make it a job that I'll never want to leave.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then he also has a topic for discussion, which we obviously can't do because we're running out of time for today. We're past time, but I'll make a note of it for the future. I'll just tell you what it was. He says, could you go into more detail about how to break behavior patterns? I've heard it mentioned several times when listeners have asked questions about dealing with household clutter, losing weight, and so on. Rita and Linda have mentioned that there's an emotional cause to why we become stuck in various behaviors, but I would love a more in-depth conversation on how we can change patterns when we find that they are no longer benefiting to us.
Yeah. I think, what would be also a good topic is talking about the subconscious, and how 95% of the time, unless we know how to deal with what's going on in the subconscious, we're running our programs, and all of it's coming out on a daily basis. So, and a lot of people are experiencing that now, especially with all of this and the anxiety around it. Any kind of fear that you've had in the subconscious, it's all coming to the surface.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
No, and just quickly about that fear, why don't we start to look at it like a gift, because it is the universe breaking up fear once and for all, so we don't have to keep living there.
Yeah.
Right. So as it's coming up and you're feeling it, maybe just feel it and ask spirit to remove it from you. I mean, you can go to energy healers. I do it in different ways, but really just ask it. You and source yourself, you can have your own conversation about it.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then make the decision. Just choose. I mean, sometimes people say they want the help, but they don't really.
Right.
So they don't feel that they don't really get the result, because it's just too comfortable to be in that space. But you have the power, I mean, just say, okay, universe, what do I need to do to get rid of this? Because it's an old story. I'm not living there anymore. But
right.
I think a lot of this is coming up, and it's, rather than being angry at it and judge it, be like, okay, so what if this was really coming up, so we can just blast it away so that we can all live in peace rather than in fear.
That would be a big shift right there, no doubt.
Yeah.
Just a couple more pieces. Liliana, who you helped out earlier, said, great advice to connect with spirit before doing my work. And then a comment from, I'm not sure who this is. The screen name is Dispeed1. There's learning just listening to all three of you. So thank you for that and peace. How about that?
Awesome. Awesome.
That's a nice way to wind things up for the day, don't you think?
Yes, definitely.
So once again, going forward, because the number of questions are increasing each week, which is great. We love that. I mean, I don't want to discourage questions, but we have to kind of start establishing some guidelines here. So try to limit it to one question. If you have multiple questions, tell us which one's the priority so that we know which one to try to get in. We will try to give higher priority to people who have not had questions answered yet in the past. And if you have a lot of questions, use the form in the LOA Today app and reach out to Rita and say, maybe I need to do a private session. Because if you've got that many questions, you probably need to just sit and talk with Rita for a while and let her really do it in depth with you. So take advantage. That's why we put that in there, so you can reach out to each of our people. You can reach out to Rita. You can reach out to Linda. If you need energy work, reach out to Linda. She's like an expert at that. Or reach out to any of the people who are involved here at the podcast. So just one little plug. We got to keep doing the plugs for the app, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So thank you, Rita, once again. Beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love it. And Linda, thank you also. As usual, you always know just the right thing to insert at just the right time. You're like a precision surgeon.
She really is.
It's a co-creation, right? Between the three of us here on this show.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you do it splendidly. So thank you very much. Thank you, live streamers. You made all very interesting too from the live stream perspective. We never really sure whether we're going to get live stream. We had a live live stream today. That was really good. So thank you to you guys, but especially thank you to all of our podcast listeners, because you're the meat and potatoes of this. You're the ones that really, really drive the bus here, and we really appreciate you being a part of the ride. So keep riding along, keep listening, keep paying attention, keep using the forms on the app to send in questions, because we love them. And thank you for continuing to listen. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.